Welcome back, folks. After spring break, Oswegolazo is here on the 48th anniversary of WTOP 10. Very happy to have you guys. I'm Nick Stetter, and we got a lot to talk about tonight. But first, I got my interview. You know, I always have the interview, and this time I'm here with a very stout defender from the Oswego men's soccer team. Ladies and gentlemen, get up for Ryan Bu. Wait, no, that's not your name. I'm not messing it up again. I'm not messing it up like every time I messed it up in this clip right here.
Being Ryan Bulis. The game, Bulis with a long ball over. Ryan Bulis trying to swing the ball over to Ryan Bulis. That's Ryan Bulis. I believe it'll be Ryan Bulis. All whipped in by Bulis. Back to Bulis. That'll be Ryan Bulis. Ryan Bulis.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's not Bulis. It's Ryan Bulis. How you doing tonight, man?
I'm good, Nick. Thanks for having me. How are you?
I'm doing very good. I'm happy you're here, man. And I'm going to ask the first question that I always ask to everyone. I asked Ian, I asked Kyla, do you watch pro?
Yes, I do.
Who are you supporting?
I am an Arsenal fan.
And you are the first person on the show to say that, like, with a full, confident yes, that you've watched pro. Kyla was kind of there. She watched the Women's League, NWSL, but she said not much. You're the first person to say they support a squad. And how you feeling about Arsenal's amazing season so far?
I'm super optimistic. Obviously, the last 3 years have been very rough, finishing second 3 years in a row. So this is the most confident I've been in my team out of the past couple years. We're on the back end of an unfortunate cup loss in the Carabao Cup, but no, I'm very ambitious and excited to see what we do in the Prem and the FA Cup and Champions League.
I like that you mentioned that Carabao Cup because we're going to get into that a little more later in the show, but also just it's really cool to have somebody else supporting here. You know, I love my guys at WTOP, but not many of them are into the world of soccer. They're more hockey guys. You know, they love other sports. I kind of focus more on the beautiful game around the world, but I'm not going to take it out on them. But besides that, let's go a little more local. Let's go to your team. First of all, you're coming into your junior year. Let's take a little look at your pitch points really quick. You're coming into your junior year, as I just said. Also, you played the 6th most minutes on the team at 873. Only a couple guys over you, and you're playing fullback to either the left or the right. You were very versatile there. I mean, what is your headspace in the season? You only started 8 games, and we talked a little bit earlier. You had a little injury coming into the season, but what's your headspace going into games, and how do you kind of adapt to change and stuff?
Yeah, so as you said, start of the season, I started off at a little bit of a disadvantage with an ankle injury. So right off the get-go, I knew that I had to work extra hard to bounce back. And so once I started getting healthy again, I knew that my season would be what I make of it. And so every day it's just showing up with the right mindset of just giving my absolute best and praying that that's what's going to end up translating on the field. And luckily for me, my efforts paid off, and I was able to contribute on the field during the games.
Work hard, play hard, man.
Yeah.
I love it. And, you know, you guys are such a tight-knit squad outside of it. You know, I see you guys all the time hanging out everywhere. And what is it that you bring to the table as a team? Because it seems like Coach Kane trusts you guys outside of soccer and on the pitch as well. He trusts that you guys are an amazing team. What aspect does that have off the pitch as friends rather than teammates?
Yeah, I mean, the way that Coach runs this team, he's got the reins for sure, but he makes it our own. And so while he is directing everything, like we make our season or our off season or just our time around each other, like whatever we want it to be. And every single guy on this team is extremely driven and extremely determined to perform at their absolute best. But they also are some of the most fun guys I've ever met in my life. And so the fact that all of them have a really good way of balancing it, it just continues to help us grow our relationships even more every day.
It's beautiful, man. And, I mean, I asked this to Kyla and Ian as well. I kind of want to have this as a course most of the time I talk to you guys. But what are your personal goals for next season coming in? You're only one of 2, minus the goalkeeper, Kyle Rose. You're one of 2 starting defenders coming back next year. Obviously, Scout Bakumski and your captain, Benjamin Brooks, leaving. What are your goals coming into this next year? Will you be a junior?
Yeah, so some of my personal goals that I've really set my sights on in this off-season is just kind of shoring up my defending a little bit more, getting a little bit more solid, being capable of taking people on 1v1, both offensively and defensively. And then on the other side of the ball, getting more involved in the attack, racking up those stats, getting those goals and assists.
and I don't want to look too far into the future because I don't know exactly where you're going to play or what you might not even know yet for sure. But do you think you might get moved into a little more of a center back role, or you might stay on the outside as a left back or a right back?
In this offseason, I've played there a few times. I played it in high school through my club team, and I definitely have experience there. Obviously, Rowan got a lot of minutes as well in the fall playing there, and so now that he's got a little more experience, he's going to be a front runner for that position as well. Ultimately, I have no idea. It's still very early for us to find out, but our spring game is coming up, and so we'll see what our coach tries out then.
Real quick, who's that game against?
We're going to be playing Cayuga Community College.
Oh, nice. And is it here?
It'll be in Auburn, unfortunately.
Oh, unfortunately. Well,
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being on the show today, Ryan. We'll get someone next from the women's squad, and hopefully you guys will be able to see that due to a little copyright. We won't talk about that, though, too much. It may be real sad. But we will see you right here on WTOP 10 after the break.
If you like action, romance,
Sister, if you're watching this,
and highbrow humor,
surface is this.
Floor. Minch did not legitimately put his head in the toilet.
there's only one place to turn. Tune in to new episodes of
Oh boy!
only on WTOP.
Welcome back, everybody. Oswegolazo. If you're just tuning in, I'm Nick Stetter, and now we got a new face. And it's obvious, honestly, I'm going to be honest, you're probably my favorite face to see on this side. I love the guys who come in to interview, but Sam Brewer's here. How you doing, man?
That's great to hear. I'm doing great. How are you, Nick?
I'm doing great, man. And Ryan, he was an amazing guest.
That was a great interview.
Yeah, he's a great guy on and off the pitch. But we're going to get into this World Cup, all right? We do it every time we make lineups, but this time we got two lineups. What did you cook up for this France team?
I myself am scared of this lineup. This is definitely a lineup that could and should win the World Cup. Starting in net, we have Mike Maignan. He's probably one of the best keepers in the world right now, especially in Italy. And then starting in the back line, I have Digny from Aston Villa over on the left, and then at right back, Jules Koundé. For the center backs, I had Upamecano and William Saliba, two of the best center backs in Europe right now. Moving up to the midfield, I had Camavinga and Tchouaméni.
Little Madrid pair up right there.
Yeah, they have connection. I mean, two center defensive mids. That's a solid defense right there. And then moving up to this offense, out on the right wing, I had Olise, and no arguments there. Some of the most assists in Europe this season. Left wing, Kylian Mbappe, also no arguments there. One of the best forward players in Europe. And then at striker, Ousmane Dembele, a Ballon d'Or winner, one of the best. This lineup was actually hard to make because I could not figure out who I should put on the bench and who I should start. I had Konate for center back. I had Theo Hernandez from Al Hilal for left back. I had Desiree Doué for right wing. Hugo Ekitike for striker. Barcola for left wing. Paul Pogba,
Oh my God.
maybe making an appearance. You never know. But speaking of this French lineup, how do you think the Argentina lineup or the squad is going to do against some bigger teams like this year?
Oh, yeah, and the reigning World Cup champions, you can't stress that enough. They're the
Yes.
reigning champions, and I hope to see a rematch of France-Argentina in the not in the final, just at any time.
Definitely a
Because,
rematch.
oh my God, that was the greatest game of soccer I think I've ever watched in my life. And starting for this Argentina squad, it's a little different from last year. All right, you don't got Otamendi. I feel like he's too old. He's got to retire. Okay, get him out of there. The football's left him. But you got Emiliano Martinez obviously in net. You got Cuti Romero and Lisandro Martinez are the center backs. That's kind of obvious. Molina for Atletico Madrid has been an amazing attacking right back, one of the best in the world in my opinion. And then Tagliafico. The left back spot for the Argentinians is a little dry, but Tagliafico is still a solid option. Now the midfield, this is probably the scariest midfield, one of the scariest midfielders in the world, all right? Because you got Alex McAllister, and I couldn't choose between him and DePaul, because DePaul's one of those hard-nosed guys. If you guys know basketball here back at home, he reminds me of Draymond Green a little bit, Rodrigo DePaul. But you got Alex McAllister and Enzo Fernandez in the CDM position, your man from Chelsea. And then I got the greatest of all time, Lionel Messi at Cam with a young star boy, Facundo Mastantuono. I feel like he's going to be a stud for this team, and Julian Alvarez and Martinez up top. And I mean, these two teams are amazing, and it's possible to see this rematch. We're looking at a game where you could see these in the knockout rounds. Unfortunately, they're not in the same group, but oh my, what two amazing squads going up to this World Cup squad.
Yeah, I don't know if you have the stats right in front of you, but I looked at the total squad value of my French lineup. Just the front three alone make up half of the squad value at $410 million.
That's half?
Just about. The total squad value is $870 million.
Oh my Lord.
Just the defense is incredible. The offense is incredible for both of these teams. I think it would be maybe an even better matchup than the first time.
Yeah, it's about 100 mil more than the Argentina lineup at 730 mil. That's the future of France is so bright too. They're just gonna keep producing stars and
So many young players.
It's amazing, man. And I mean, if we get into this international talk alone, man, we're in international break right now. A lot of World Cup qualifying and friendlies are going on right now. Not much actual club soccer is going as we are just kind of digesting all this stuff right before the World Cup, and the season's about to end for club teams. Premier League has about 7 games left, maybe 5. I don't remember the exact number. Yeah, I didn't want to say it, but yeah, I mean, we got a couple of big matches coming up in the friendlies, and it's gonna show. This is kind of like the precursor. This is how teams are gonna line up. What do you think teams are looking at going into these just friendlies, not the World Cup, just the friendlies?
I think a lot of these friendlies, obviously, you don't want to start all the starting guys, the best guys, get them injured in a friendly versus, some random team. But I think these teams are looking for similarities to the bigger teams like Argentina, France, and especially some of the teams that have big players but maybe not a lot. So like Norway just has Holland. It's an easy way to focus on stopping one aspect of a team.
Yeah, I noticed that, speaking of Norway, I noticed that Odegaard hasn't really been playing for them. Is he injured right now? I believe he is.
I don't know if he's on injury or coming back, but yeah, he has been absent from a lot of the lineups.
I'll tell you one international match I saw that is going to be maybe a precursor to a semifinal, quarterfinal match. Brazil and France play Thursday.
In Gillette Stadium here in the United States.
If listen, I might drive from Oswego. I might go. That is going to be a stellar game. Still upset that my Neymar pick from last time didn't go through. I was kind of hoping he was there. Also, Colombia and Croatia, two, I think, of the most underrated squads. Because Luka Modric, he ages like fine wine, man.
Of course.
He gets better the older he gets. It's really an anomaly of a player right there. And Colombia, they've got everyone they need, man. Luis Diaz, Sanchez in the back from Galatasaray. I mean, two big matchups. Quick prediction. What do you think that Brazil-France is going to be?
I think Brazil could do it, but the way France and their whole squad has been playing, I think 3-1 France.
3-1 France?
Yes.
I don't blame you. France has the depth. I don't think Brazil had the depth, especially with Rodrigo being out. And Alisson's out too now. They're going to have to start Ederson, which isn't a bad alternative at all. But yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of the inexperience coming from Brazil. I think you could see a start from Andre Santos, maybe João Pedro. So a lot of younger guys with not as much World Cup experience, maybe having to come out and start against the French. So I'm excited to watch that game.
It's going to be absolutely mint, and I hope we see that in the quarterfinals, maybe semifinals. But realistically, going back to France, what is your prediction? You think they're going to win? You got that?
The game versus Brazil, or the?
I'm saying the entire World Cup.
I think France should win the World Cup, but I don't know if they can.
For Argentina, I'm going to say they don't win. I say they get out in the semis or the quarters. But my prediction, and we're probably going to have this lineup soon on this show, I think Spain's going to win that thing, man. They've got youth. They've got talent. They're so fundamentally just strong. I think that France, they're great. They're an amazing squad. Everything you want in a squad, France has. But I think Spain might just take the cake, man. They're that good. I don't know. It's going to be a real good World Cup. I just hope MetLife Stadium doesn't have any turf toes, you know what I mean?
Yeah, Spain is a really great young team. I think a really sleeper-type team at this World Cup is Portugal.
Oh, my God, yeah. If Ronaldo comes back, too, maybe that'll be a last hurrah.
Yeah,
but
they have old guys, they have young guys, and I think Portugal could be a team there.
And we are going to go to one more break. We got a couple of the weeks coming up. We'll see you right here on WTOP 10.
Do you like reading? Do you like reading books? Do you like looking at books? Do you like having a collection of books in your living room?
Now, before we get into the nitty-gritty, spoiler alert! Okay, Lord, why did I write this in yellow? I told you! Welcome back between the pages.
If only we had someone who could tell us what we should and shouldn't watch.
Well, do we have a show for you? Who are you?
What are you doing in my bed?
On Be Kind and Rewind, we will go through and review all your favorite movie franchises.
And tell you which ones you should and shouldn't watch from the perspective of normal movie fans. Well, be sure to check out Be Kind and Rewind on WTOP 10.
Good evening and welcome to Jeopardy! I am your host, Joe.
Hello, Simon. Joe is at this place.
I'm very concerned to see what Piper's answer is here.
Sorry, it's a 98-page rule book.
You guys are stumped still?
Joe, I'm going to sound like a little snob here. It was not founded by Ray Kroc.
Welcome back to the DK experience. Go back to your job.
Every NFL fan had played for the last 15 games. They beat.
Writing a letter to the NFL fans? Get out of here with that. Joe, let me finish.
No,
let me finish.
Stop.
Johnny Manziel, captain, he's a loser.
No, that's.
Oh.
Watch the DK experience.
Welcome back, y'all. Nick Stetter, Sam Brewer, Oswegolazo. We got a couple of stuff, and I might add this segment more than I usually do. I wanted to try something new. We're looking at a game of the week instead of a player of the week first. But we're looking at a game of the week. We're looking at the Madrid Derby here, and the Madrid Derby was absolutely electric, all right? It was a 3-2 win for Real Madrid. Vinny Jr. is coming back to his prime, it looks like, along with Fede Valverde, who did get a red card in that matchup. Sam, run us through a couple of the stats you're seeing right now.
Lookman opened it up in the 33rd minute to take the lead, and then Valverde and Vinicius both getting involved for 3 goals. Shots on goal, Real had more. Shot attempts, Real had more. And the biggest stat that I actually noticed was this difference in fouls. 2 to 15 fouls. Nick, what do you think about that?
Atletico, they're a hard-nosed team. When you have a manager like Diego Simeone, whose son's also on the squad, by the way, and he actually had some real strong words against Real Madrid earlier today. I saw it on Fabrizio Romano sourcing really quickly. Simeone's son, I can't say his name right. I think it's Julian.
I don't know how to say his name.
Yeah. Sorry, Simeone. Apologize if you're watching this. I hope you are. But Simeone's son said that he would never play for Real Madrid, even if his life depended on it. He does not like them that much. He would never play for Madrid in any circumstance. And in that game, I think they showed how much they don't like Madrid, because 15, and this game put Madrid in a good spot to stay in La Liga. They're only 4 points behind Barca now. It's going to look like a pretty awesome spot. Meanwhile, Atletico, they're kind of clinched in the Champions League spot, but they fall to fourth behind Villarreal. I mean, what do you see with that, man?
Yeah, that's definitely a big loss for Atletico. They had actually been on a hot streak of a few games. They just beat Tottenham in the Champions League, and I think that was a real confidence booster game for them. But coming back to Spain, they could not get it done against this Real Madrid team, and I think those loss of points are definitely going to hurt them.
And I want to go back to the Valverde red card. It was a straight red foul. I think he got some studs into the guy's ankle. But Fede, he's been phenomenal. He's a top Ballon d'Or contender, no doubt in anybody's mind. If you don't think so, you're wrong. You're wrong. You're so wrong. But I think that Fede Valverde is the key aspect to this team, and Vinny Jr. is getting better and better. Do you think this win gets them really excited for these Champions League bouts coming up? They got a real tough against, in my opinion, the favorites of the Champions League, Bayern Munich. How do you think this game propels them to maybe even win La Liga and also keep them in the Champions League?
They're definitely going to need a rally of some sort. They're playing, like you said, one of the hardest teams in the Champions League, and they are riddled with injuries right now. Rodrigo,
basically
a bunch more. I can't
every
think of them right
defenseman
now.
ever, yeah.
But I think it's definitely going to be challenging, and they'll need to come up with something brilliant if they're going to win either the league or the Champions League.
I think the only bright spot they got with Bayern is that Ariobola, their manager, he's not well known. You don't know his strats, you don't know his statistics yet. So I think that's your one spot. If you're a Madrid fan, you're thinking Bayern might not know what we want to do because he's fresh. After Xabi Alonso getting fired, they realized that they kind of got to change things up. And Alonso getting fired was a lot about personalities at the club too. But I hope Alonso comes to Liverpool personally. I hope Slot gets out as fast as he can. We're going to get on that in a second. But personally, I think Madrid, you got a lot of talent on that squad. You need to keep this up. Having Fede Valverde out for their next La Liga match, it doesn't matter who they're playing. That's like losing the best player on your squad. You don't want that for any game whatsoever. I don't care how good Madrid are. They might lose to Betis without Valverde. He's that good. So how do you think that turns their shift into next game without Valverde?
Obviously, they've won games without Valverde before, but recently Valverde has been their winner. He's scored so many important goals. Definitely, he is definitely one of the biggest game changers for their team, and without him, I think they will struggle.
I'll tell you what, if we had a player of the month, I probably would have gave it to Valverde, honestly.
I would have to agree with you.
You know, we should have done that because we haven't been on the air in a very long time, man. And the spring break, you know, they cut us off short with spring break. Wasn't very happy about that. We could have done a Zoom call, maybe.
That's something you guys are going to have to stay posted for.
But moving on, as I touched on before, I said I want Slot out. And it's because, Sam, you're a Chelsea fan. I'm a Liverpool fan. And if I'm real, I think you know this and I know it too. Both of our teams are in the worst form they have been in the longest time. They flat out suck, all right? They're not good. They're not playing good. Liverpool's run of form has been abysmal. I mean, they lost 2-1 to the worst team in the league, Wolves. Then they lost 1-0 to Galatasaray. Luckily, they brought that back in the Champions League. I would have cried if they didn't. Then they tied to Tottenham, who are in a relegation battle. Then they lost to Brighton from Danny Welbeck, 35-year-old Danny Welbeck. If you are watching this, sir, I'm so mad at you. You just really ruined our Champions League chances. I'm not happy with you at all. But, I mean, it's bad on our side. I'm not keeping up with Chelsea too much, keeping up a little bit, but how is it on your side?
It's been disappointing. We've had some good wins over championship teams, but those are the championship teams. You know, we beat Hull City 4-0. We beat Wrexham 4-2. But also, that Wrexham game was close. It was only Wrexham actually had the lead twice in that game. But then when we get to some of the bigger teams, 2-1 to Arsenal, 5-2 to PSG, just a bunch of disappointing games. we went to Villa and beat them 4-1, and that game gave me so much hope. And I thought it was the turnaround in the season we needed, but the very next game, Rossinier showed me that he's still a Strasbourg-level manager. And Chelsea might miss out on some Champions League next season.
And I mean, these teams haven't looked like this in so long. I mean, Liverpool were on streaks of going 97 points to second place to City, who were Centurions. Chelsea, they had 1 year where they were kind of iffy.
2022, 2023, they might give Chelsea today a run for their money.
Yeah.
But we're getting close.
Yeah, I mean, I think you guys really didn't bring in many people for signings, did you? Did you bring Garnacho and Delap? Was that it?
We actually did bring in a lot. We got João Pedro, Garnacho, we got Harold Hato. We got a bunch of signings during the summer in the middle of the Club World Cup. But now, actually, Chelsea has been hit with a transfer ban.
Oh, really?
For the entirety of next season, which means Chelsea cannot send out or sell any players, I believe, or bring in new players. And there's also a 6-month academy ban, so they cannot move players up or down to their academy for the next 6 months.
That's what happens when you sign 4 different squads on one team.
But where are City's charges? That's what the people want to know.
That's a great point.
Where are City's charges?
Where are City's charges? 115.
Non-existent.
They're not there. They're not there. They should be in League 2, dude. They should be long gone.
They shouldn't have a stadium.
Get them out. Get them out. Get them out. But anyways, speaking of sad stuff, because you got your little ban on your transfers, what's horrible for Liverpool, and honestly, it's not horrible. He's a legend. I feel like his time's passed. Mohamed Salah is gone. He's gone after this year. He just announced it earlier today. Fabrizio Romano posted, and it hit me right here. You know, it hit me dead in the heart. And I was, in my opinion, all right, and this might be a hot take. I really don't think it is. You could say top 2, and I would agree with you. I think he's the best Premier League player of all time. I think he is. He has, I think he has more goals than Henry. I don't know off the top of my head, but he has the most goals plus assists in Premier League history. He's won 2 titles with Liverpool, who hadn't won a title in years. I don't think they actually won a title before that, but they didn't. He played phenomenal Champions League. He might be the best Liverpool player of all time, in my opinion.
I would definitely say the best Liverpool player of all time. I don't know about the best Premier League player of all time. That might have to go to Ronaldo. Or there's a few other names.
Henry, maybe.
Yeah.
I was thinking Henry.
I don't know if I can give it to Henry, but.
Really? You think Ronaldo's the one?
If I had to pick between Henry and Ronaldo, I'd definitely pick Ronaldo.
I get you. Man U. See, I think he was amazing at Man U, but obviously Madrid's his peak. But he was great anywhere he went, really. But I mean, after that, let's get into some positive to a team that doesn't suck. We're gonna move to the player of the week. The player of the week this week, he was solid, all right? He won a trophy, so that gives you a little hint on what team I was talking about. He won a trophy. He's had green ratings. If you look on FootMob, there's green here, green here, green here. It's everywhere. There's some blue even, too, which is stellar performances. And he's young. He's young. He's a star boy. And he usually comes off the bench on this Man City lineup. Oh, I gave it away, Man City. If you didn't watch that game, I'm disappointed in you. That's a Carabao Cup final. Come on. But, ladies and gentlemen, player of the week, Nico O'Reilly. Congratulations, Nico. I guarantee you're watching this at home, celebrating, rejoicing with your family and friends. And I mean, looking at the stuff, man, he's got 7.3 ratings everywhere you look. The only game he doesn't have one is that Real Madrid game where they pretty much got decimated. But 2 goals to win the Carabao Cup final off 2 Kepa mistakes. Former Chelsea keeper who also sold some of your Carabao Cups too. And Nico O'Reilly, player of the week, man.
Yeah, I think he's one of the best youngsters in the world right now, scoring 2 in the final, being the ultimate decider for the trophy, taking away his first man of the match in something not the Premier League, I believe.
Really?
Yeah, so definitely a well-deserved Player of the Week award, in my opinion.
And that is really just, he's such a stellar kid, man. And I think, honestly, you know, people calling Saka a star boy. He's not. I'm sick of it. He's got like 6 goals. He's got 6 goals on the season. Arsenal fans, get out of here. You don't know what you're talking about, all right? This 19-year-old kid, are you 19 or are you 18?
I will be 19 on April 12th.
Oh, really?
In about 3 weeks.
So you got an 18-year-old and you got a 19-year-old, and we're smarter than these Arsenal fans who've been watching soccer for 30-plus years. It's ridiculous. Get him out of here. You can't say Saka is replacing Neymar in MSN. I'm sick of these clips. But realistically, we thank you so much for being here on Oswegolazo. Nico O'Reilly, congratulations. I'm Nick Stetter, Sam Brewer, Ryan, thank you for coming on the show, and we will see you next time on Oswegolazo.